What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip, and welcome back to another Bakwage Sentai Boonboomger video. So this is a review of episode 2, and yeah, I'm doing this video or recording this video on the same day that it aired. So I gotta say, it's still solid. So I really like the first episode. Also, second episode, solid. Uh, it's really completely fun, I would say. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some things that happen and something very interesting that I will talk about later. So let's get to reviewing the episode first. Now, to summarize, so of course, this is, I guess, a pink focused episode again. If you might say, well, it also kind of involves blue, so you could say like a pink blue focus episode. So the basic premise of today's episode is that, well, of course, Mira is the newest addition to the Boonboomger team, but uh, Ishiro, or Shashiro as they jokingly call him, does not approve of it. Well, Taya actually does, given that he was the one who gave her the Boom Boom Changer in the first place. But that's besides the point. So again, Mira tries to prove herself worthy, at least to Ishiro, that she is, you know, a member of the Boom Boomger team and she deserves to be in that team. So our monster of the week is a vacuum cleaner and tries to suck everything. Now, there are some points in this episode that I would like to talk about without spoiling too much or without spoiling anything super important. So, first off, well, we do see. So in the introduction, so Mira visits a house, but not just any house. It's Taya's house. So in the first episode, there's a scene where uh, Taya buys new clothes for uh, Mira in order to get her out of that wedding dress because, well, she does stand out in that wedding dress, so she can also move in something more comfortable. And when Taya pulls out his credit card, he says that I'm buying the whole store. So, you know, like you could say that he's loaded, but you don't know how loaded he is until you see his house. Yep, Taya is really rich. Okay, so the name on the house, it's T Hando. So it's his house, right? So he's not just some rich kid living with his parents, like he has his own house. So makes me wonder like how rich his family would have been so he could afford something like that, or maybe he's a self-made entrepreneur, you know that's that just happens to be able to buy his own house. But well, I guess that's a question for another day, or maybe, let's just establish that he's a rich guy. However, another interesting point, so there is a short flashback on how, you know, Taya and Ishiro have met. So it's actually a very interesting flashback. I mean, it's only just like a couple of seconds, but maybe we get to see more of it in future episodes. So again, because Mira was very curious, like how did they meet? Because, well, in the first episode we already have established that, you know both Taya and Ichiro have already been working together for some time, and, well, they are already Boonboomgers at the start of the story. So how did they meet? So we see a little bit of it in a flashback. Now, going to Boom Black and Boom Orange. So Joe is still this innocent bystander that just happens to get unluckily caught in the middle of all that action. However, uh, Gemba is a bit more interesting today. So in episode 1, we see that Gemba knows Taya, but here in episode 2, they we in fact see that they know each other. So maybe he is working with Taya as well, but it seems that it appears that Taya asks Gemba a favor and he does so, which could mean that he is somehow in um, Taya's employ, or he also has a different kind of business that just so happens that to be convenient for Taya to use. So Taya is more focused on delivering stuff, and how do you say, Gemba does stuff for people, which could be different, but something that Taya can utilize and help him, do things. So another important part of this episode. So we of course know that the Hashirian, well, so far has 3 members. So today we are introduced to a new Hashirian member called Mad Rex. However, Mad Rex only appears through voice when Dekotora, Itasha, and Yaya Yaruka are talking to him. However, this Mad Rex says like the boss will be happy. So from this hierarchy, so we can assume that Dekotora, Itasha, and Yaya Yaruka are working together in the same level, and then above them is a higher general in the form of Mad Rex, and then they have a boss who stands on top of the organization, which could be our final boss for this season. But of course, we probably would get to meet them much later in the series. So, of course, stay tuned for that. So, action wise, it's really, really interesting. So, we see a dynamic between like Shashiro, or Ishiro, to be precise. So, Ishiro and Mira. So, Mira actually is the one who, like, goes, uh, you know, she's the one who acts first and thinks later, and then of course we already know that Ishiro is the tactical guy of the group, so he's the strategist. So when Mira misunderstands, like at some point, like Ishiro seems to have run away from combat, but Taya actually analyzes the situation quite well. So we do have a smart Red Ranger. So compared to some of his predecessors, again, more specifically like Go on Red and Red Racer, well, they tend to not think things. So they're the type of rangers who would rush into battle first. Well, yeah, they fight, but they do so without thinking first. They prioritize stopping the enemy, which, well, I do agree could be an important aspect, but they don't take into account things like collateral damage, or if the enemy is setting them up for a trap. So it's Ishiro's job to look into those things before they actually get into battle. However, while Ishiro is, like I've said earlier, the brains and tactician of the group, to defeat this week's monster, like Taya also had several ideas that allowed them to defeat the monster. Like he did set up some things. Well, actually, with the help of Gemba, he was able to do something to stop the monster. While uh, Mira actually was able to save people by, you know, stalling the monster, buying time. So while Ishiro doesn't recognize this, or uh, he hasn't asked for any help from Mira, by actively trying to stop the monster, bought Ishiro time to enact his plans. So whether he knows it or not, well, he does recognize Mira as part of the team already. So at this point, at the end of the episode, so Mira does decide to not only officially join the Boonboomger team, but also become a a part of the delivery team herself. And her first job will be actually seen next week. Now, speaking of the delivery job for this episode, so there is a secret or top secret document that apparently the Rangers have to deliver to a president of a foreign country. Like, it's not really mentioned, but the way he speaks English, he's the president of the United States, or at least their version of the United States in this episode. So yeah, they are able to meet up with a leader of a foreign country who, for some reason, also is able to speak Japanese, albeit with a very heavy English accent, but nonetheless, he speaks Japanese. But, well, you know, I guess that's the story for this episode. Now, going into some stuff. So this could be an important aspect going forward. Now, in today's episode, so some details. Well, we do actually have the opening and ending sequences played out. So the opening and ending theme song. So we do see them for the first time today. And we do have roll call with special effects. So those are some nice additions. But I want to focus on the opening sequence. So there is a part, like there's a split frame. It's a blink and you miss it type of situation that teases a new character. That's right, we have an extra character in the opening sequence. Now, of course, you can see uh, Taya, Ishiro, and Mira being introduced, especially with the Ranger forms. Joe and Gemba are also in the introduction or the opening sequence, albeit they don't have their transformed or Ranger forms yet. But of course, they will be added in later. But there is a mysterious looking figure, a woman, by the way. So, uh, so there's a split frame that features this woman who appears to be important. And at the end of the episode, so the preview for episode 3, we see her debut. So I actually have already found the information released officially, and well, we could speculate for now, but I think this character seems to be very important that she was added into the opening sequence and is revealed for the third episode. And that's by next week. So I guess a week after this video is uploaded. So we have the name and the actress playing this character. So the name of this character is Shirabe Saibu. So Shirabe is part of an organization called the ISA, which seems to be an intelligence agency, kind of like the FBI. So you see the symbol or the logo of the ISA during that split frame that features Shirabe in the opening sequence. And well, you also see it in the preview for episode 3. So Shirabe Saibu is going to be played by Atsuko Hashiyasume, who was a member of an idol group. Well, they're not a typical idol group, but nonetheless an idol group. So it's called Bish. I'm not trying to swear here. That's actually the name of the group. Yeah. So after the group disbanded like a couple of years ago, I guess, so each member started their own solo careers, and while she like uh, Atsuko was a member of Bish, so after their disbandment, so she moved on to be a TV personality and had a few acting roles as well. So it's interesting to see someone like her, um, in this kind of TV show for kids. Well, considering that Bish's songs aren't not kid friendly to say the least. Like they're not your typical idol group, but I guess that's a story for another day. But I do have a friend who likes Bish a lot, so when the news about Shirabe was revealed, so I actually showed her pictures immediately. So, time for speculation. So, for someone like Shirabe to be featured in the opening credits as early as episode 2 and have her, you know, debut in episode 3, well, this could be a theory, you know, for now. So let's not, uh, believe everything just yet. So take this one with a grain of salt for now. But she could be our sixth ranger. Now, I've already seen rumors about a female sixth ranger to be added to the team, and well, I guess the name is Boom Violet. So we don't know just yet. But again, having Shirabe as part of the opening sequence, I think she's going to be the one set up to be the sixth ranger. So for the first time, we do have a solo female sixth ranger. So I had to be very specific about that because we technically have had a female sixth ranger in the form of Go on Silver. So interestingly, another female ranger or another female sixth ranger in a vehicle themed Super Sentai show. So again, the difference is Go on Silver had to share the spotlight with her brother Go on Gold, but well, whatever ranger color or designation Shirabe might take if she is going to be the sixth ranger. So we do have our very first, well, in a manner of speaking, right? Our very first female sixth ranger. So I guess you could say she is the first in the Reiwa era, but in general, she could be the first female sixth ranger. But what do you guys think? So uh, I really have enjoyed the Boonboomger today, and actually, like while I was watching, so I already wore this jacket. So, like I wanted to be dressed for the occasion again, so that's why. And it did not disappoint. Like there wasn't a scene or there wasn't a moment in episode 2 that I didn't like. And I even had some good laughs while watching this episode. Uh, of course, a lot of them coming from Mira. So she is the designated comic relief. But there are some funny moments from Joe as well. But yeah, like everything is solid, you know. Again, the action, the characters, I'm really starting to enjoy the characters. And well, of course, we are going to see more of Gemba and Joe soon, but at least for Taya, Ishiro, and Mira, so their dynamic as a trio works really, really well. You know, compared to the King Ogres, who are memorable because they are individuals, the Boonboomgers, well, of course, they do have their unique personalities, but they are a more cohesive team, you know? Like, compared to their predecessors, they appear to be much better working as a team. So, again, like, this is like back to roots Super Sentai done really, really well, which is why I'm also giving Boonboomger episode 2 5 out of 5. Again, it's a solid episode. Really, really enjoyable. Character dynamics, very nice. Action, very well done. A lot of humorous moments. Boonboomger is set to be a really, really fun show, at least like how I see it. But yeah, if you haven't watched Boonboomger yet, I highly recommend that you start watching now. Don't be put off by the suits, okay? Again, never judge a Sentai by its suit. It's a fun show. So, with that said, thanks so much for watching. And as always, please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next week. Bye! 爆上げだ。